Oh, okay. I'm gonna break my IKEA furniture. The Irvings, Canada's 7th wealthiest family and proud owners of the province of New Brunswick. Now, they don't have a deed, but they also don't exactly need one. Let me explain to you how powerful this family, with its hands in just about every monetizable industry in New Brunswick, really is, and why that's arguably a problem. So their legacy began in 1882 when James Durgaville Irving, grandson of enterprising immigrants from Dumfries, Scotland, founded J.D. Irving Limited, JDI. Father of now famous and infamous Kenneth Cole, Casey Irving, JD was a leading citizen in his small New Brunswick town, Bouctouche. JD ran a sawmill, a grist mill, 3 farms, and a general store. After some super fun family drama, primarily stemming from not being JD's first son and a well-placed threat to run away, Casey would eventually inherit all of JDI over his brother Herbert and begin his ascent to Patriarch of Irvingville. So the game mechanic that skyrocketed Casey to global wealth and influence is called vertical integration. Casey was obsessed with the growth and expansion of his businesses, much to the detriment of other businesses around him. And just like your typical RPG skill tree, the founding of one business unlocked all the other businesses for Casey to conquer. If he needed supplies for a passenger bus and freight company he ran, he would purchase the retailer in its entirety. If he needed construction workers to build gas stations to sell his oil, he would found a construction company and then hire the work out to his own men. In this way, he was able to create an entangled web of products and services that all directly related to one another. It is currently estimated that the Irvings control somewhere between 174 and 250 companies, and that approximately 1 in 12 New Brunswickers work for them in some capacity. There are many benefits to this whole vertical integration situation. Now, the Irvings have always proclaimed that the reason that they stay in New Brunswick and grow all their businesses there is because they live there. They want to support the community that supports them. Simple, right? Because they own such a large piece of the pie, of so many pies, they're able to negotiate with the government and governing bodies with a metric shit ton of leverage. Playing hardball and threatening to run away, just like Casey, and take all their jobs and boost the economies with them if they aren't offered enough concessions, tax breaks, land, deals, you name it. And because they employ so many, and the local economy is in many ways dependent on their success, they're easily able to either drown out or buy out competing businesses of would-be entrepreneurs that might otherwise invest in some of these industries. They readily use any and all available strategies to stay on top. For example, because all the companies are privately owned by the Irvings rather than being publicly traded, their financials are allowed to remain shrouded in mystery. In 1971, after a small tiff with the Canadian feds, Casey finally made good on his promise to run away. Kind of. He took residence in Bermuda, which is a known tax haven now, but at the time this was pretty ingenious. And then he would just visit Canada frequently and for long stretches of time in order to run his businesses. And by having all of their companies so entwined with one another, they're also able to take advantage of something called transfer pricing. Transfer pricing is the prices at which companies under the same umbrella are able to exchange goods, services, products, intangibles, whatever, with one another. For example, a company based in Bermuda might be able to purchase crude oil from, say, Africa, and sell it to its subsidiary in New Brunswick at a slightly higher markup than usual, thus maximizing the profit in Bermuda, minimizing the potential for profit in Canada, and lowering their overall tax burden. Now, the Irvings have always maintained that they just want to do a good job, make enough to eat, and enrich the communities that have given them so much. But I have to wonder, would the province have been better off without them? Had other entrepreneurs been allowed to take advantage of the resources found in New Brunswick, would they have been able to succeed and profit well enough without all the additional tax breaks and handouts from the government? And wouldn't they have been able to offer more in return in the form of provincial taxes that could be used for any number of improvements? Now, a wealthy family owning a conglomerate of businesses, much to the benefit and charge-in of its community, is interesting, but it's hardly unique. The real story here, the thing that makes the situation with the Irvings so unique, so special, so one of a kind, is their complete and utter dominance over all news media in the province of New Brunswick. The Irvings own every single English-speaking daily newspaper, most of the weeklies, and a good collection of French-language papers too, just for kicks, all of which are only accessible via a heavy paywall. It is an isolated ecosystem unlike anything else in North America, and although they have always fervently maintained that the newspapers are run autonomously, there is plenty of evidence suggesting otherwise. Here is a tweet from Jesse Brown of Canadaland showing one particularly brow-raising instance. As heavily detailed by acclaimed journalist Jack Poitras in his book, Irving vs. Irving, a lack of specific directive from the family may not be enough to maintain the paper's independence. Like Big Brother watching over your shoulder, the Irving ownership alone is enough to shift the culture of the papers in New Brunswick. Employees have detailed time and time again that although the rule is unspoken, it is evident and it is clear: do not mess with the Irvings. This has been an especially interesting development since Premier Blaine Higgs, a former Irving Oil executive of over 30 years, took office in November of 2018, creating a slew of obstacles for New Brunswick journalists trying to cover provincial government, a cornerstone of local coverage. On June 30th, Brunswick News Inc., BNI, effectively fired cartoonist Michael DeAdder over a political cartoon featuring Donald Trump in a rather negative light, making national and international headlines. The firing, not the tweet, although the tweet did go viral. Interestingly, he had stopped sending BNI Trump-related content earlier, since the ones that he did send were never published anyways. So he got the message, and he actually published this to his personal Twitter account. This fact is mentioned in BNI's official statement regarding the matter, where they also claim that Michael DeAdder had been planned to be let go of weeks in advance of this particular cartoon coming out. DeAdder doesn't disagree with this, as he stated in a series of tweets. He believes that his history of creating and publishing anti-Trump cartoons for a prolonged period of time is what eventually got his contract axed, and that this particular cartoon going viral was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Regardless, Michael DeAdder has effectively been silenced in his home province of New Brunswick thanks to the Irving News monopoly. He can't go work for another publisher because they are all owned by the Irvings, even Huddle, Rip Huddle. But what's the Irving connection to Donald Trump? Why should a Canadian family be concerned with what's going on in the White House? Well, in addition to owning 2 million acres of timberland in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, they also own 1.246 million acres in northern Maine, making them the 6th largest landowner in the United States. And Trump's recent trade war with Canada, including the tariffs on lumber, directly affect the Irvings' bottom line. Still, the newspaper is all autonomous, right? So are the Irvings a net positive for New Brunswick? They do employ thousands of people and have installed countless industries into the province to boost its livelihood and its people. But at what point does the Irvings providing the people of New Brunswick with jobs and industry teeter into sapping them dry for their own ambition, leeching off of and silencing the community that they've always claimed to benefit? I mean, who am I to say really? Does intent matter above all? Or is that just a lie we tell ourselves in order to avoid introspection and justify shady or selfish behaviors and desires? Let me know what your opinion is. I really want to hear perspectives on this outside of my own. All I know for sure is that if you live in the Maritimes, this family and their dealings affect you personally every single day, despite having never been voted into power. They affect your wallet and your livelihood and your environment and your access to information. And while I don't believe that the web is going to be becoming untangled anytime soon, I do believe that at the very least, they should be held accountable for their actions. There should be effective checks and balances, and their voices should not be the only ones that are heard. And the only way to accomplish that is to hold your politicians accountable and rally behind those who are willing to fight for you. As for the rest of us, the best that we can do for now is pay attention and shine a spotlight whenever we can. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you want to learn more about the Irvings, I've left a bunch of resources in the doobly-doo. I am so excited about this channel and all the things that I'm wanting to do with it. If you found this video interesting, please consider subscribing for more content or hitting the like button in order to feed the algorithm. If you're curious about me as an individual, or what making this video is like, or what starting a YouTube channel is like, I've made a second channel over here where I'm going to be documenting that whole process and talking about all the different difficulties that I have, because I am filled with difficulties. If I have not figured out end cards yet, there will be a link down below, probably like the first link. Okay, bye!